It's always nice when things work.
Yeah. I've been watching all day they're doing did you ever watch the Guild web series?
Yeah, yep, I did. A little bit
Um
here and there.
yeah, they're doing a movie, they're doing a Kickstarter.
Hmm.
Um and they hit what are they at now? 2.26. No, it just went up. Hold on. It's it's adjusting. Let me refresh. $2.45 million.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
They crushed their initial goal in like an hour,
Mm.
and I'm gonna back it. Um, Steve's like, we could just do the. I'm fine with just getting like the movie and stuff. Everything else just seems extra. I'm like, but I want all the extra stuff because they're doing a tabletop RPG and they're
Mm.
doing dice and they're doing like some really cool stuff
Yep.
and a card game too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hello, Peanut. It's like a dating game, like card game.
Mm.
They have a lot of really cool people that they've added into it, including Jonathan Frakes is going to be a fisherman like card, and
Nice.
I think Brent Spiner is going to be a merman. That was pretty funny too.
It's pretty cool.
I'm like, I want those. I want those. It's like, oh, fine. You can't buy anything else for a while. I
Mm.
said okay. Even though
How much is that level?
uh 330.
Oh, okay.
So
Not horrible.
it's not
And for
bad.
all that stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, for all that
card
stuff.
the
Hello,
card
that's great.
game, exclusive card game, tabletop RPG, the poop corn bucket. So it's a Renaissance fair theme. So it's in the shape of a bucket that you would shit in the Renaissance Renaissance times. It's a popcorn bucket.
Nice. Very
It
nice.
comes with a really nice set of metal dice, a comic that they're doing, T-shirt, blind box pins, the complete original show on Blu-ray, sticker sheet, the digital copy of the new movie, um, backer, like name, of course, in the credits, stuff like that too. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff that you can get.
that's a lot of stuff, and for that price, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's definitely that's worth it.
So I was just it was so funny. I was coincidentally rewatching The Guild before they even like started talking about this,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden this comes up, and I'm like, oh, yes, I'm excited. I am ready for this. They're hitting 20 years, so yes, yes, please.
Do You Want to Date My Avatar is still one of my favorite silly gamer
Oh yeah,
songs. Like it's so silly, but it's still one of my absolute favorites. I love that song.
yeah.
It's just such a silly song.
They
It
did
makes me
such a good job
happy.
with it. I'm so happy
Pretty
with it.
good.
Hello, Peanut. She's like right next to the treat bottle already. She's like, I'm in position. I'm here, Mom. I'm here.
Yep, she knows.
All right. How much longer on ads? 10 seconds, and then we can go ahead and begin if you're ready.
I think I'm ready. My thing's doing this like it's been optimizing your playback experience for like this entire time, but I'm pretty sure if I press play, then it'll just work. That's
Yeah.
what it seems to do. So I'm like, whatever.
I was like, what can I work on while we're doing this? And I'm just gonna level stuff because everything else I want to do, I need to actually listen to it. This I really don't. I just run
Hmm.
and throw stuff at things and stuff and things.
Yep. That's why I'm doing crafting right now because like if I want to do anything else, I can't. I need to be able to listen.
Yep.
So
All right. Ready to
okay.
start the first episode when you are.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, we're gonna start the episode 24. This is gonna be the end of season 4 tonight. We're gonna
Cool.
finish these last 2 episodes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We go.
Okay, why are captions on?
Oh, hi, Quark. Uh-oh.
Mm.
Oh. That looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. That doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Nope.
Don't pay any attention. I'm so excited we get last season of Strange New Worlds starts.
Mm-hmm. I'm still behind. Snape's watching. He's caught up. I'm trying to catch up on so many different things. I have like no desire to watch anything, do anything.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted all the time. It is getting a little bit better though, so I'm like, okay.
That's good.
And I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch Star Trek tonight. I'm like, damn it, I will watch Star Trek tonight if it
Yeah.
kills me.
It's been a little while. We've both
It
been really busy.
has. Oh man. Life has just been lifing way too much.
Yep.
I don't have enough energy for all of this life.
I miss the soundtrack too.
Mhm.
Doopy doopoo. Dwee doopy dwee. Doo doo. I was wondering why I was so tired today. Then I realized, stupid shit, you didn't have coffee today. I'm like, oh, that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need coffee. I stayed up until like 2:30 in the morning playing Dragon Quest because I have been playing Dragon
Nice.
Quest 2 and thoroughly enjoying that. And then I was like, oh shit, it's 2:30. I should probably go to bed.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what content I want to do on the channel. I was testing out some games today, and I'm like, I don't think Division 2 is it. It's so complicated figuring out what gear you want and then trying to do anything on my character. I'm just so underpowered and have too much stuff
Mm,
that like it's just overwhelming. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like as much as I would like to, it's probably not going to happen. Then I haven't played through the Assassin's Creeds yet, and
hmm
I have Black Flag, the new revamp.
The new one, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like I should probably play that at some point too. Oh.
Yeah, it's like I've been trying to play stuff, but I'm always so tired. And like Nico will message me, "Hey, are you up for streaming tonight?" And I'll be like, "Maybe." And then by the time it gets to be nighttime, I'm just like, I cannot even.
Yeah.
I just can't. I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, it's rough. Did my husband send you? No, but I love it. Of course you would. I'm pretty sure Steve sent him. I'm pretty sure Steve sent you.
Mhm.
I'm here organically. I appreciate it. Thank you. We're almost done with the with season 4. We should be finishing up season 4 tonight. Uh-oh. Hmm. You're just a couple seasons or a couple episodes into the third
My
season.
friend
Have you
got all
watched
dressed
him
up for
before?
a Star Trek convention. Unfortunately, he came as Chewbacca. It was a Wookiee mistake.
I heard that one from you today already. Julian is not happy.
Nope.
No, but he plays one on TV.
Mm-hmm. Of course they did.
Mm-hmm. The Jemmy Hadaris.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Nice, dear. I'll give you your points back. That's not on. How dare? You should see that my light's not on. What do you mean? shortcuts and he's used to it. My room, my door is only open and you can see into my room. Oh man. There they are. Mhm. Shh. Yeah, let me return your points. Reject. I give your points back. Be happy I give you your points back. Oh,
Hmm.
that's no fun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For free. Like a good doctor. course. I get the needing to kind of protect yourself, but goddamn, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been like this for 2 centuries, so you kind of can understand that, I
That's
guess.
true. So hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, hmm. SD has a little bit of hope.
Mm-hmm.
Should kind of know better than to tell him that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's such a funny name.
It really is.
Hmm. Aw. Uh-oh. God, that's so creepy looking.
It really is.
Holy crap. At least he knows what it was.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. That's really rough.
hmm
Ask for the poison. Jeez.
Yep.
Jeez. That's gotta make him feel like absolute shit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh man. He's extremely determined now.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, she just put on a show. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's whew.
That's a lot in time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. He doesn't quite believe it.
Mm-hmm.
In his own way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. He's got it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
From the child. Aw.
Mm.
He did something.
Yep.
Yep. It's a good episode.
Yep, that is.
Okay, which one's next?
I was having a lot of fun watching that behind the scenes reading rainbow thing that
Yeah.
Patrick had found. That was so cool. It's like it's so interesting to like watch the special effects and the video editing. The video editing part was the part that was I was just like, oh my god, that's right. They had to actually put, film and stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay, this next one's called Body Parts.
Body Parts, season 4, episode 25. Ah, yes.
The last episode of the season.
Trying to remember this one.
Just give me one moment. Just in the middle of pulling some stuff really quick. Okay. Ready to start it when you are.
Okay, 1 second. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start this last episode of the season in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Okay, why does my shit keep starting muted? That's so weird.
That is. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Of course.
Mm-hmm. My God.
Oh, that's right. She is pregnant. It's been a little while.
Yep.
I love her.
Yep.
Dabo. A snail juice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Moogie. Oh, that's a little important to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do. Meow, meow, meow. So weird having today off.
Mm. Did you do fun things since you didn't have to work?
We went to go eat at Hot Pot, and then I drug Steve to Costco because we were at a couple things. And I took him to the car wash, and we came home.
Cool.
And I took a small nap because, again, I realized I didn't have any coffee. And my body was like, we're tired. We're going to give you a small headache, too. I'm like, okay,
Oh, that sucks.
that's nice. Thank you. It's a person in this group that I'm in right now named Chudmaster. Mm.
Silly.
I am a little sad that I'm going to be gone for the 40th anniversaries of Voyage Home.
Mm.
I'm going to be at the Gorge. I realized the dates. I'm like, no.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, at least we've seen it before in the theater, so it wasn't like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
But I was still like, man, I could have seen it again in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Human doctors. Humans. I should not have been drinking water at that time. That's true. Make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Genius, brother, you mean. How dare you?
Yep.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Enhance. Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's right. This is the beginning of this. Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. I remember now. I remember this now. It's
Yep.
all coming back to me. Mm. Yeah, by it not being him, I think so too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Peanut. Mm-hmm. Basically, no.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Hmm. What a coincidence. Much as of an asshole if you've been to him, he still cares about you.
Yep.
Shh. Eh. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Jesus. Let's say I hope she knows already.
Yeah, she does.
Shh. Charge admission. Uh-oh. Uh, Damn. Collect. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Well.
Well, well, well.
Mm-hmm. He wants his stuff. Of course. Mm. Mm-hmm. The freaking Ferengis, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It's insane how much he just wants him to die.
Mm-hmm.
Philanthropist. Mm. Didn't they start what is it?
The union?
Union,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, they did.
Jeez. He, mm. Wow, 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 wow.
Ooh.
That's still so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It's so weird. Poor Kira, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it what's crazy is that they're not realizing like they're I mean, it does suck the position that they're in now and the fact that they're
Mm-hmm.
worried about their baby, but the fact that Bashir was able to do that
Yeah.
so quickly
Yeah.
on a weren't they on like a
They
shuttlecraft
were,
too?
yeah, they were on a shuttlecraft.
Like,
Totally.
are they not just realizing the miracle that he just did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like nobody's thinking about that. Ah, Garrick. Oh. Hmm. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We're back. It's a new home, so
Mhm.
mm, I'm hungry. Sh- t- Nerese is very much an introvert, I feel too.
Yep.
She's like, no, 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 thank you. Uh-oh. Don't do it, Nerese. Shh. Ah! Shh. Mm. I'm just gonna live in fear the whole time.
Yep.
I mean, it's his normal life, you know.
Yep.
Oh. Mm-hmm. They're just rules. How Ferengi of them.
Yes.
That's incredibly Ferengi of them.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh. He's choking himself out. Babo. He does not care. Jeez. Hell yeah, Korg.
Mhm.
FCA. I like how he had it ready.
Mhm.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Get the fuck out, kid. Get the fuck out, kid. Mm. Mm-hmm. Aw.
Mhm.
I like Rom a lot.
Yeah, he's a great character.
Mm. It's like people actually like him.
Mhm.
Shh. You going to bed, dear? Mm-hmm. Yup. Community, people that care. Look at that. Even if you are a piece of shit a lot of the time, they still like you. You're their piece of shit.
Yep. Okay, so I'm showing that there is a season 4 episode 26 on my thing. It just told me that. So there is another episode after this. We had this problem at the end of the last season, remember?
Yeah.
This is so fucked up.
What's the name of it?
Oh shoot. I closed the little preview thing. I'll let you know as soon as the thing's done. Cause yeah, it might be on yours just under a different number or something.
Maybe.
That's possible too. Okay.
Oh yeah, Broken Link.
Yep.
So we still have one more episode.
Yep. So that actually works out because I'm pretty sure that this episode is a two-parter so we'll have so the next time if we watch 2 episodes, we'll watch this episode and then the one starting in the next season.
The next season.
So that actually works out. Yeah.
Jeez, that's still so stupid. I don't know why it didn't pop up before, but in the preview, when it says it was going to the next episode, it popped up. So I don't know.
It's so weird. I don't know. I think Paramount's just on crack or something.
Yeah, it's Amazon player or whatever is just stupid.
Yep.
So what are you guys up to this week?
It's a good question. I don't know. We stream tomorrow. I might try that horror game thing that he got called Look Outside.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really bizarre. It's very Undertale but it's a horror game and and Nico said it's pretty good. So I'm kind of interested in checking that out. I also kind of want to see if I can play my 007 game again. But the last time I tried, it made me really just way too seasick. So I couldn't, even with medication and everything, it just wasn't working because I'm just having so much trouble with that right now. So I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. I want to play what was it? I wanted to play something and now I can't even remember what the heck it was. I don't remember. I was trying to do the new Diablo season, but that was really bad and Glamour's not working correctly, so it's unplayable for me. I can't hide my helmet. As long as I can't hide my helmet, I cannot play Diablo 4. Jeez. Which I know sounds really ridiculous, but I just can't. I for some reason it bothers me so much to not be able to hide my helmet. I don't know. I'm weird.
How did I miss this spear? I put it right on her. What the heck?
That's weird.
Yeah, this freaking dungeon. Jeez, man.
I should like try that Beeb game that Nico's been playing. The heck is it called? Grand Blue Fantasy. There's like some new Grand Blue Fantasy thing. I might try that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what content I want to put where and all the fun stuff, you know.
Yep. I'm just like so unmotivated for anything. Like nothing makes me go, "Oh my god, I really got to play this thing." Like I'm really enjoying playing Dragon Quest 2 right now, but that's not something that I'm going to stream. I mean, I guess I could. Like Nico could play his game
Yeah.
and I could play my game. We could just chat about stuff. We do that sometimes, but I don't know. I want to play something new, different, interesting, exciting, fun, but I don't know. But then when it gets too fun, I get seasick too fast. So it's like I end up not playing and I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm trying to find the motivation to play anything right now too.
Yeah, it feels like a weird time in games at the moment. Like there's nothing, I don't know, at least not in my game world. There isn't a lot of really exciting cool stuff, and there's all the layoffs that have been happening and all the other stuff
Yeah.
that's been going on that just kind of puts sort of a damper on the whole thing at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. Maybe, I don't know.
Then I mean, I haven't really had much time to do group stuff a lot either like I
Mm-hmm.
used to. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been a little bit of trying to figure out what single player stuff I want to play, even if it is in a multiplayer game. So
Mm-hmm.
Pal World's been nice to
Mm-hmm.
dive back into and stuff, but it's going to be
That's
a
good.
process and a lot of work to play by myself because my family has a server again, but they all have a ton of time to play now, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So I'm gonna get behind on everything anyway.
Yep, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm behind on everything. Final Fantasy 14, I'm super behind. I have not caught up to story. We haven't been able, like, we still raid every Saturday, but the last few Saturdays, there have just been things that have been going on, like the 4th of July. And then the weekend after that, somebody had a thing that was going on. And then this past weekend, Snape and I had a party that we got invited to. And then this coming Saturday is the day that we're picking up Jemmerk from, to come from the airport. So we're not going to be raiding that day. So it's like we're no
Yeah.
raid like for all of July.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll start back in August.
Yeah. I have today was weird just because I this past weekend was weird because I work Friday and Sunday. I usually don't work weekends. And
Mm-hmm.
then we were off today because the shop itself was doing uh like their big inventory. The NEX was doing their big inventory, so we just shut
Mm.
down the store. And then work tomorrow, Wednesday, band practice after that, Thursday, band practice after that, and then Friday I have a show,
Mm.
and then Saturday is the meetup. Sunday I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna veg out, I think. So it's a lot of not really having too much to do. I don't have really a
Mm-hmm.
setup to stream or shows either that have good audio quality. So
Mm.
people are asking if I'm gonna live stream the shows. I'm like, but with what? All I have is this, and it doesn't sound that great when I live stream with the Twitch app. So
Yeah, that sucks.
yeah, so I don't know. July's just been weird.
Yeah, it has been.
And then, are you guys going to the H&L fandom event at all?
Probably not. I don't think. I have to like I have no money. And it's like if I go to stuff like that, I want to be able to buy things. I want to be able to do stuff.
Yeah,
But I had to buy a new car, so I have no money
it's good
now.
you guys got a new car though. That means you can do stuff.
Yeah. I know.
You
I
guys can
like
go
it. It's
places and do stuff. What'd
exciting.
you guys
I
end up
like
getting?
having a new we got a Toyota BZ Woodland. It's a fully electric
Nice.
vehicle. It's very cool. I really like it. But it's like, you know, car payment now. I'm like,
Yeah.
ouch. But yeah, it's fun. It goes. It's actually pretty impressive how like how much power the car has. Like, the last, when we had our old white car, that was a hybrid, right? It was a
Yeah.
gas battery hybrid.
Oh, there it
And
is.
that was not a very powerful car. This car, holy shit, if you put your foot down on the gas, it goes
goes.
0 to 50 in like 4.5 seconds or something stupid like that. It's stupid. Like, it has way too much horsepower, but it's nice. I really like
Oh
it.
yeah, it looks like their version of the Subaru.
It is actually the Subaru Trail Seeker and the Toyota BZ Woodland are the same car. They're made in the same factory in Japan.
I think the one that I want to get for the Subaru, like for my next car, was going to be a Crosstrek.
Mm.
I think that's what I wanted to pick up at some point. It's not a all electric car, although I could. But I think we're just going to do gas on that one.
Yeah, see, because we were figuring out, like, I was doing the math. How many kilowatt hours does it cost to fill up the tank from like 10% to full? And it's like less than a tank of gas. It's like $45, even with our Hawaii electricity rates.
Yeah.
And that's like, and it has a lot of, the charge lasts for a really long time because we don't go all over the place. It's not like we're driving everywhere or anything.
Right.
So.
Oh, wow, it's got a big sunroof too.
Yep, sunroof and JBL speakers inside.
Yeah,
it's a nice car.
That's what Stu's got inside of his Corolla. Yeah, it's essentially just a Subaru and a Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yep, I like it. I haven't, Snape's been the primary driver in our household for how long now, and so I haven't driven regularly in probably over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
But now he takes the bus and I drive the car. So I've had to not relearn how to drive because I still totally know how to drive. But it's been so long since I've driven regularly that driving actually feels stressful because I'm like, I have to pay attention to the road and I got to look at my mirrors and I have to do all these things that I have not had to do.
I was a passenger princess for so long.
Yes.
Now I'm coming out of retirement.
Yep. That is exactly it.
That's really cool. I like the look of it.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a really nice car.
Yeah, it was between Toyotas and Subarus because Subaru tends to have a little bit higher of a safety rating too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Subaru Trail Seeker is not available anywhere on island because I was actually looking for that one.
Yep.
But because the BZ Woodland is basically the same part, same factory in Japan, I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm good.
Essentially the same.
Yeah, it's essentially the same car. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm totally happy with it. So
that's cool. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, those cars look really cool.
Yep.
I'm just excited you can go places and not have to worry about things.
I know. That is really nice, actually. It's like for our old, it's like our old car when it got totaled, right? We were able to get my dad's car. So then we've been using my dad's car. My dad's car is like a 1998 or something.
Yeah.
So, and that finally died, like really died. It got to a point where it's like, okay, you can drive it for a few blocks maybe, but you can't go more than just a couple minutes away.
Jeez.
And then my mom's car decided to totally die. So it's like, all right, I need to get a working car so that I can be able to drive her around if she needs it and us around. Snape's already got his monthly bus pass, and then in 3 months, what is it? In 2 months, 2.5 months, he turns 65, so he can buy the senior bus pass, which is $45 for the whole freaking year.
Yeah, they increased the prices on them too, like in general for the passes.
Yep, it's $80 a month now for the regular one, but the Kapuno one is still only $45. So he has an appointment to get his thing. So he's like, yep. That's super cheap for him to try to get to work. He's like, I love not driving. Mm-hmm. This is so nice. I don't have to sit in traffic and parking. I don't have to walk through stinky Chinatown from the parking lot.
Yep.
So now he's becoming the passenger princess.
Nice.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. It's fun. I used to love driving. It's just that I got used to not, but now I'll get used to driving again.
Now I'm looking at the Woodland Premium.
Yeah, that's the one we bought.
But
Because the premium was only like $1,000 more than the regular Woodland. I was like, oh, then just do it.
yeah, there's
1,500 or
it'd have to
something.
be in black. They don't have them in any other color right now.
Oh, that's a bummer. The one we got is Stepping Stone, so it's kind of a brown.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Let me see.
Snape wanted brown
yeah.
because it's an Eevee, and he wanted in like Eevee, the Pokemon is brown.
Yep.
So he was like, I want a brown Eevee because it's an Eevee, and I'm like, okay.
That's cute.
He's like, okay, when we go to Japan, we need to get an Eevee plushie for the inside the car. And I was like, okay.
That's super cute.
It is.
Let me see. They have it in black. Huh. That'd be very warm out here though, but I like a black car too. I'd just be scared at night. That's why I don't mind the little bit brighter colors as well.
Yeah.
See, I'll get the Halo and I'll put all the Halo Master Chief stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. It has interior lights, and they're like LED things. You can change the color. So the LED lights inside my car are all green.
Of course.
But you can, I think you can even make it so that it goes through the rainbow, like it slowly changes color.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It's very silly. I was like, that is so silly, but I like it. It's fun.
No, it's a really cool car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I should go to bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play some Dragon Quest and not stay up until 2:30 in the morning.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again for this stream tonight. It's been a little while, so
it was fun. And we had two really fun episodes, like one really good episode and one really fun episode.
Yeah, one of course Ferengi episodes are just as good.
Episodes are always good. Yeah.
Just as good for me as Klingon episodes, so. All right.
Yep. Cool.
I will talk to you later. We'll have to have you guys over do dinner at some point or something like that soon too.
It's been a while. We gotta try and do something, because since Jemrick's gonna be here, we want to have a hangout, because that'll be fun.
Yeah. Just let us know.
It'll be a good time. Yep. So I gotta talk to Nico and see what he wants to do plan wise. So.
All right. You have a good night.
Cool.
Tell Snape we say hello.
Will do.
All right. Night.
Good night.
Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna head to bed. Like I said, tomorrow, I don't know what the plan is, if I'm going to be streaming, because, excuse me, because I got such a busy week this week. I'm trying to plan out all of my streaming stuff, video stuff. I got to start doing stuff on YouTube. I got to start doing stuff elsewhere too. So I'm trying to figure it out. Thank you again for the hangout today, guys. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to go ahead and head on out. I'm going to drop you guys where I'm probably going to be sleeping here soon. They're doing the whole the Guild movie, and we backed it today too, so I'm so excited for them. I think they're almost to 2.5 million now too. So anyways, I'm out of here, guys. You guys have a new